It is the Turf World Championships at Sha Tin on Sunday. Welcome to the race-by-race preview. Paul Lally joins us for the selections. We'll have a special guest for the 4 Group 1s joining us for analysis and selections. Also, 12.25 the first. We're on the A course, and the first is the Ferry King Prawn Handicap. In Jude, will become his first start for John Size. He ran in the Void race. The visor off, earplugs on. Red Brick Warrior is on debut. He's had 5 trials. Kaying Glory's a half-brother to Kaying Rising. Jubilation for All's won a trial. Rising Phoenix steps up in trip to the 1400. Decision Link has a tongue tie going on, and it's a wider draw for Rainbow 7. The speed map here, Paul, has Thousand Spirit from Barrier 7 crossing over.
Yeah, Lyle Hewitson likes to lead, and the horse has led in his last couple. Eric Valanic unseated his rider last time, but I think he can be handy. Kaying Glory likes to go forward. Jubilation for All's a recent trial winner. Flying Boom improved a lot from start 1 to start 2, and Rainbow 7 from his wide draw will go back, but I think he races better back anyway.
Here we go now with Thousand Spirit running third. Rainbow 7 makes a bit of ground for 7th. Thousand Spirit run down after leading. Rainbow 7 did show a bit last preparation. He hasn't quite recaptured that form as yet.
No, he's run second off 52 rating, and he's down to 47 here. He'll go back as well. I quite like this ride because he was held up there, as you can see, and now he gets into the clear and really finishes off strongly. He's capable, son of Per and Canto, this one. I wouldn't be surprised if he's an improver at good odds. So it's a tricky race to start, but I might go with him at a price.
Most open race of the day?
I think it is, yeah. Well, the second's not far behind.
No, very true. So if you find a winner of the first 2, you might have some cash to go and have something on the bigger races later on. Here is in Jude. Craig Williams, John Size, the combination with him. He's had 5 trials now prior to what's going to be his first run. That's either side of the Void race.
He steps up to 1,400 metres, and this was his win, was over the 1,400 metres. He's had 3 goes for a win and a placing. Look, the trial was good, I thought, coming into this race. I think he's a good chance. He's won at 53, he's higher at 59, but look, the distance looks good for him.
Kaying Glory, Paul, he's had a couple of trials since we've last seen him. This is the last of them where he leads. He was very impressive. He has been beaten as a short-priced favourite on race day. What about your thoughts on his chances in this opening race?
Look, he's been declared Aurora in the past, which is a slight concern. And when he's under no pressure like he is here, you can see what he can do. But when the pressure comes on race day, that's just a little concern. He has run second behind Do Your Part in the past. Look, I was just happy to watch him Barrier 10. I just wondered how much work he's going to have to do to get across.
That is some lead-ups to the selections for the first. You sounded pretty keen on Rainbow 7.
Yeah, I think he'll be a good price. It's a tricky race, but hopefully we'll get a double-figure price about him with a wide draw. And Francis Lloyd's horses are going really well at the moment. So he's on top. Jubilation Royal, there was a poultice of money that came for him recently. And since then, he's come out and won a trial. So I think there is definitely ability there for him. He's only had the 2 starts. And Jude in there for third. And Flying Boom, another one that's improved from start 1 to start 2. 14.815.
Bit of value for Paul in the first, right down the bottom with Rainbow 7 to win the first on International Day. Here it is, the preview now for race number 2. We step it up a grade here to a Class 3 event, and this one is over the 1,200 metres. Circuit Grand Slam, a debut winner at 51 to 1, carries an extra £16 here. Savvy Brilliant has the earplugs off and the hood going on. Geneva has placed 3 from 3 first up. Helene Super Feeling, a time for us both, make their Hong Kong debuts, as does Forza Leader and Let's Have Fun. Homes are caught 1,000 to 1,200 metres, and Sugar getting close to a class drop in his best form is over at Happy Valley. Giant Leap Pull from Barrier 14 comes right across to lead.
Yeah, there's no pace in the race, and he's the horse that likes to go forward. So look, I think they'll be positive and try and get to the rail with him. Sovereign Fun's gone forward in the past. Let's Have Fun showing a little bit of speed in his trials. Young Arrow, time for us. Armour War Eagles drawn the inside barrier. Forza Leaders, a debutant. Savvy Brilliant did go forward in a recent trial, but from barrier 6, I think he'll go back. Geneva from barrier 11 as well.
Refuse to Be English kicks off the first replay. This is at Happy Valley last time. He runs 4th. Sovereign Fund, bulk of his recent racing's all been over at Happy Valley also. And Giant Leap sits wide, but as we saw on the speed map, with his gate speed, might be on the rail and leading, turning for home.
Yeah, I think they will try and get to the front with him. Refused to be English. This is a better run from him. He's only had one start at Sha Tin, though, and he did finish towards the back. So the jury's out about Sha Tin for him.
We've got some trials now to have a look at, and the first one is Savvy who leads and wins. Young Arrow runs fifth, and a time for us as a newcomer. He's had the 4 trials. He won over 1,200 metres at Newcastle in Australia before arriving. He's been so-so at the trials at time for us. What are the others, Paul?
Look, I thought Savvy Brilliant's trial wasn't too bad. He was really pushed out here at the end of this trial, but just kept responding. His better racing style is when he goes back. That's what we've seen. Has won off a 70 rating. He's a 2-time winner from his 9 starts, so he's not a bad horse here in Hong Kong. He's up to the 75 rating at the moment.
Next trial, here is Geneva, who's fashioned a pretty handy record in a short career. Hugh Bowman, David Hall races well first up. He hasn't raced since the 25th of May, so it's been a little while since we've seen him on the track.
Like this trial from this horse. It's a nice, easy trial for him. He was a 3-time winner last season. He's got barrier 11. That's just a little slight concern. But he's always looked a classy horse, Geneva, and has raced well when he's gone back in the past.
And that is South Star, who's been in good form, beating him home in that trial. Let's have fun as a newcomer, member of the David Hayes stable. Keith Young's going to take the ride. Beauty Eternal's leading in this trial. So there's some horses in this trial that are well above average. He's just pushed along down there on the fence.
Yeah, look, he's a maiden coming here. Let's have fun. He had 2 races in Australia and was placed in both of them. The cheek pieces will go on for his debut run. A little bit of a tricky draw there in barrier number 8. You can see him pushed out a little bit. So, look, see what sort of run he does get on his debut.
That's the lead up to the selections for race number 2. Who do you like to win an open second race?
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I'm going to go with Geneva. He looked classy last season. I think he can race, and he has raced well fresh in the past. Circuit Grand Slam, a couple of things against him. Now up that 16 pounds, as you said, but it was an impressive win from him, from this horse. He's got a senior jockey on now, and Christophe Soumillon. Helene Super Feeling, now he did win over longer overseas before he got here. Didn't mind a couple of his trials. And was placed over 1,400 metres, and then Savvy Brilliant on the back of that trial win. But I think 3 can win it. 3, 1, 4, 2.
Paul keeping it all around the top of the book for race number 2, with the top 4 making up the first 4. Here is race number 3. It's the race that precedes the Vase. So trying to get a bank for the first of the Group 1s in this Class 4 over the 1,200. There's 2 last start winners at the top of the book, Majestic Valor and Mabubu. Packing Phoenix has the tongue tie on for the first time. Fortune Supernova, blinkers and a tongue tie go on him. We've got Cool Boy wearing cheek pieces. Stormy Night and Zephyr both making their racing debuts. Winning Diamond steps up in trip, and Speedy Smarty up in grade, but he has won 3 from his last 5 and 2 from 4 this season since joining the Brett Crawford stable. It's Mabubu, the leader, Paul.
He led last time, led all the way and won. Packing Phoenix took a sip when he won. Majestic Valor was right on the pace when he won. So I think that'll be the top 3. Should be a good pace. Voyage Boss, Fortune Supernova. Speedy Smarty's gone forward in the past. This looks a little bit trickier, this race. Jubilant Star's got a wide draw. He might have to go back. And Winning Diamond, another one that might go back.
We have an interview first up that Nick has done with the trainer of Majestic Valor. It's Pierre Ung.
Pierre, you've got Majestic Valor in race 3 on what looks a really competitive undercard for the Group 1s. He could do little more than what he did on debut. I thought he was quite impressive.
Yeah, he was impressive on the first run. Actually, this race we booked Sack to ride him, but he was first reserve, and then our horse got in. Luckily, we got a ride more this time, so hopefully he can show us the same thing. He improved from the last run. Just have to show back that performance. I think he'll be a very strong chance.
Yeah, not a bad substitute getting right, is it really?
Not at all, but I'll love to have Sack on him, but just sometimes with the entries, hard to say.
I know it's only early days, form-wise, etc. But the horse he beat, Everluck, looks a handy type. So I think the form's solid there, isn't it?
Yeah. He's very solid as well. Well, let's see who has performs better. Hopefully, with the top weight, doesn't worry him that much with his size. So he did really improve from the last run. So hopefully he brings it on again.
And just a couple of weeks between runs, Pierre. How's he done since the debut?
Well, the first run he didn't seem damage any damage for him. So he definitely improved from his form this round. So he jumped out on yesterday morning. Seems fine, relaxed enough. So hopefully he learns from the first race and get more and more mature later on.
Impressive win by Majestic Valor at his first start. Another one that won at his first start, Paul, is Mabubu. A Jubilant Star runs third. He's placed 2 from 3. Course and distance is Jubilant Star. Mabubu, Vincent Ho, Chris So combine again. Extra £7 on his back for this victory.
Yeah, look, I thought Jubilant Star was a bit unlucky in this run as well. Unfortunately for him, he's drawn wide once again. He drew 13 here. He's drawn 11. James McDonald will stick with this horse. So, look, I quite like his chance. It was a nice win from Mabubu. It wasn't expected. He was 25 to 1 in winning. I just thought Jubilant Star might be the one to take out of the race.
It's him on the outside in the yellow, red and light blue. Some trials now. Where's Packing Phoenix at? Because he was very good. He was a boom horse on debut. Managed to get the job done. Then he was beaten at his second start. He draws nicely in 2. Been pushed along a bit in a few of these trials.
Yeah, he has. I think coming back onto the turf will help him. Look, he was a $1.50 favourite when he won. He was 1.7 when he was beaten. You know, you can forgive a horse second up. They've got that second up-itis. Jury's still out. He's got Zach Purden aboard. He's got barrier number 2. So he's going to get every chance just in behind the pace. I'm going to include him on a minor line. I didn't want to completely leave him out.
And here's a newcomer, Stormy Night. David Hayes is the man that prepares Stormy Night. He's run third in his most recent trial up at Chung Fa. Hugh Bowman's going to take the ride at his first start in Hong Kong.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad trial from this horse. He's picked quite a tough race, so there's a bit of form in this race by Headwater. He's got a good draw, barrier number 3, so Hugh should be able to get him into a good position in the race. And we'll see how he goes on debut. I just thought there was other well-credentialed horses that we've actually seen at the races. He's a bit of an unknown.
We'll leave him at the Chung Fa trials and see what he can do at Sha Tin before he goes into Paul's selections. But who are you not waiting for?
Majestic Valor. I liked him on debut, and I'm not going to desert him here. I thought he was very impressive winning that race. Jubilant Star, we saw him finishing off strongly. Lucky McQueen had been a bit of a morning glory and always had disappointed on the track. Last start at Happy Valley, he showed what he can do and he finished off strongly there for second. So I wanted to give him a chance coming back to Sha Tin and then Packing Phoenix there on that minor line. 1-6-14-3.
Majestic Valor for Paul to remain unbeaten and make it 2 for 2 with Ryan Moore jumping on board for Pierrong in the third. The first of the 4 Group 1s, and as is customary on the Race by Race preview, to bring in our regular expert on the big days, Champions Day or HKIR like this year. From the Racing Post, Matty Plow, welcome back, and are you enjoying the build-up to this year's big day?
Very much so. It's a bit different this year, a bit quiet on the international front, but still very competitive. Looking forward to Sunday. Obviously, we've got the 2 superstars, which people are saying are already home and hosed, but the other 2 races are very competitive, so a lovely mix.
Absolutely. We'll find out if you think those 2 superstars are home and hosed. You'll join us for the first 4. Paul Lally from the Race 3 preview continues to join us for race number 4, and here is a look at the Longines Hong Kong Vase over 2400. Los Angeles was a Group 1 winner of the Tattersalls Gold Cup, but it was some time ago. Al Riffa comes here from the Melbourne Cup. Giavolotto, he was the winner of this race last year. Sozi wears the Junko colours and is a member of the Andre Fabre stable. Maxime Guillaume takes the ride, so it's the same combination. Then the local ensued. Aiden, Moments in Time, Bundle Award and Carrying Generation. Round out the field for the Longines Hong Kong Vase, Paul. There is the speed map from that about 450 metre run down to the winning post the first time.
Yeah, look, Moments in Time's had 2 starts in Hong Kong over 2400 and he's won both of them. Goliath, we've only seen Goliath over 2,000 here in Hong Kong. He was back a little bit. I think he'd be a lot closer in the run over the 2,400. Aiden is another one that does like to go forward, and he's going to be right there on the pace. I think the French horse Sosi will get a perfect run midfield, and last year's winner Giavolotto will be in a very similar position when he won last year.
Plenty of interviews, and we start with Nick talking to the rider of Al Riffa. It's Dylan Brown McMonagle.
Yeah, he's done nothing but improve. He's got better every day, and he's been a great servant for me. I've won 3 Group 1 3 Group 1s on him, so now he's been a super horse, and he's definitely a flag bearer for us. He had a good run the last day in the Melbourne Cup. Things probably didn't go his way, but he comes back here, he's fresh and well, and he's travelled over good, so we're looking forward to it at the weekend.
That is Dylan Brown McMonagall there, Matty. What about our river coming back from the 3200 of the Melbourne Cup to a 1.5 mile Sha Tin Vase?
Yeah, I thought he looked quite dour this day in the Melbourne Cup, just sort of staying on at the one pace, and he's got that staying form in Ireland, of course. His last Group 1 win was in the Irish St Leger at the Curragh. I think there are pacier horses in the Vase than him, and I do think he'll be found wanting for a turn of foot, but expect him to come home strongly. Yeah,
one thing in his favour, he does carry less weight. He was top weight in the Melbourne Cup, and it's very hard to win the Melbourne Cup with top weight. And the other couple of things is Dunedin, he's come through the Melbourne Cup and raced well. Highland Reel came through the Cox Plate and raced well. So there is a proven path from Australia back to Hong Kong.
That is our ref. We're now going to talk about Goliath and hear from his trainer, Francis Henri Greffard.
Definitely. I mean, that was his first time of starting his season here in the spring. And the horse was not in good shape. He was very upset. He lost a lot of weight in the travelling, and the humidity didn't help us also. And 10 furlong was not ideal. So I was upset with myself to have started the season with him here. So we can draw a line on that.
We're always learning, of course, aren't we? He's subsequently won a Group 1 in Germany, beat Dubai Honour. We know him very well. So it's always strong form when you beat a horse like Dubai Honour. And how has he been in preparation for this race now?
I couldn't be happier. I think the horse is at his best. We all know that Goliath needs the race to go his way, the pace and his position during the race and his attitude. So if he behaves well during the race, I think we can see the best of Goliath.
Do you think we'll see the best of him in this race, Matty?
I think we'll see better than we saw in April. That I'm confident of. He didn't seem to travel too well when he came here for the QE2 Cup. Up in trip, of course, that will definitely be in his favour. He's looked so much better this week than I've seen him in the past, but I do hold some reservations about the ground here and the track. He'll need everything to work out perfectly for him.
OK, you got him in, Paul?
Yeah, I have. But look, he is a bit of a quirky horse, but I agree with Matty. I think he looks a lot different horse, a lot better than when he did come here, and the step up to 2400 is definitely going to help him.
To the Arc now, Paul. Giavolotto fourth on a race that was run in pretty heavy rain. He was given a perfect trip and stayed on well. Los Angeles disappointed, and Sosi, this stable, knows what it takes to win a Vase.
Yeah, look, I thought it was a really good run from both these two, Sosi and Giavolotto. In particular, Sosi. Look, he ran fourth in the Arc 2 years ago, then he's come to this Arc and he's run third. In between, there's a couple of Group 1s for him as well. So he's been such a consistent horse, and we know how strong the French are when they come here.
Keith Sasana in behind there as well, who we'll talk about in a little while. Really strong form. I think Giavolotto, I fancy him a lot. I think he's a better horse than he was this time last year, and he put up a career best in the Vase. So these conditions bring out the best in him. Winner of the September Stakes, and that Arc was run on ground that he would have hated. Yes, he had an advantageous draw on the inside, but I just think he absolutely loves this place. He never looks very flashy in the mornings, but that's just him.
Here he is last year, Matty, hitting the gap, and he just leaves them to it.
Yeah, seriously impressive. You can see he's got a little quirk to him, the way he sort of leans across late on, but that was a strong addition of the Vase. This year it's competitive again, but I think he's took his form to a new level. New rider this year too, Paul.
Yeah, no, but he knows the horse well because he did ride him in the Arc as well, Andrea. So look, it's he's going to have another really good chance, and you know it's quite possible we have the same 4 winners as we did last year. It's good to see all those horses come back, and he's definitely one of the main contenders.
Time for another interview now. It's Nick with Christophe Lemaire. He rides Urban Chic.
Yes, definitely, especially because look like he's coming back in form. His condition recently has been very well, and he ran very well in the Tenno show, which is a very good form because Masquerade Ball finished second in the Japan Cup, and on that occasion he ran a great race. He's a Group 1 winner in Japan. As you said, he stays very well, so the trip will be perfect for him, 1.5 miles. He likes good ground, so yeah, I think he's got a very good chance.
And when assessing the field there, Christophe, I mean, it's a strong Vase. I mean, it usually can be. We don't get too many races over this distance in Hong Kong, but this year looks like a strong renewal, doesn't it?
Yes, definitely. It's always difficult to win Group 1 here during these internationals. But Urban Chic is a talented horse. He proved it at home. and now it's his first try abroad. But I think he's got a few good cards in his game to perform.
That is Christophe Lemaire. All right, we've broken it down, Paul. Maddie, what's the top four for the Vars?
It's going to be a repeat of last year. I think Giavellotto's got a cracking chance of going back-to-back for Marco Botti and Andrea at Zany. I really like the horse we've just seen there, Urban Chic, a former Japanese St. Ledger winner. I think he's going to run a cracking race. Sosi is in for me. Such a good run in the Arc and 2 Group 1 wins earlier this season, followed by Al Riffa in for 4th.
I like Sosi in this race. Vive la France for me. I think he can win this one. So he's on top. Goliath over the 2,400 metres. Al Riffa coming through the Melbourne Spring Carnival. And then last year's winner, Giavellotto. 5-4, 2-3 for me.
There you have it, the preview, the first of the 4 Group 1s, the Longines Hong Kong Vars. It's race 5. It's going to capture a lot of imagination. The Longines Hong Kong Sprint. That is simply because horse number 1 is Ka Ying Rising. He drew barrier 1. Satono Ray, Ryan Moore jumps aboard. Ryan's won 2 international sprints. Lucky Swainess, he won the race in 2023. Helios Express consistent but keeps being beaten by Ka Ying Rising. Fast Network. First time at the Group 1s for him. We've got Cardam, wide draw, third the Breeders' Cup Turf last time. Barrier 13 though. Then Beauty Waves who leads up. Raging Blizzard, Tomodachi Kokoro, Wunderbar and Divano. So a lot of locals run in this race, Paul. What's barrier 1 going to do to Ka Ying Rising?
Yeah, look, I think this is what will happen with him. You can see him there. Look, Beauty Waves led him last start. Win Carnelian, the Japanese horse, he just knows one way, and that's handlebars down. What I think Zach's going to do, he's going to try and get off the fence at the first opportunity, and it could be in a situation where Wunderbar actually ends up in the trail when he actually ends up outside Wunderbar, because I think he's just going to try and get out as soon as he can, because the one thing that could get Ka Ying Rising beaten is if he gets boxed in the race. So that's the last thing that Zach will want.
That's a little known fact. They all live together. David Hayes, Zach Purton and also Ka Ying Rising, and Nick Child ventured to their house.
I think it's probably his best win so far. You know, it's the best feel he's given me. He, handled the fast speed, with a lot of comfort. And when I gave him a little bit of rein, he put them to bed very quickly. And I was easing him up. I stopped riding him fully. I didn't ease him up as such, but I just let him coast to the line the last sort of 175 metres, which is very rare in this class against these horses here to run the time he was running. He just seems like he's going to another level all the time.
David, Zach makes his job sound rather easy, and it always looks that way from an outsider looking in. What about for your task as a trainer with him now? How have you sort of found him down through the seasons? Has he changed much?
Look, he's just got bigger and stronger, and pessimistic Zach has often given him an average report after track work, but even his last gallop, Zach was quite bullish how much he'd improved from the incredible win. It probably was as good a piece of work as I've seen him do singly on his own, and I think Zach would agree. He just sort of seems to be getting better, which sounds ridiculous with a horse that's won 15 in a row, but he certainly hasn't gone backwards.
David and Zach on the preparation lead up to race number 5 at Sha Tin on Sunday, the Longines Hong Kong Sprint. Let's go back, Paul, to the Jockey Club Sprint. Beauty Waves was next to him about 30 or 40 metres before we roll the replay here. He just leaves him in his wake and does it so easily, as he always does.
Yeah, look, he'd have to underperform for any of these horses to overturn this, and it's, or he gets boxed in, which I don't think that's going to happen either. I did like the run of Fast Network. He's the improver. He's sort of the new kid on the block, and you can't write off Helios Express either, because he's so consistent, and he's, unfortunately for Helios Express, he's just found a champion in his year.
You've got no qualms about him at all?
Look, I don't think 1 is ideal. I don't think that's necessarily the draw they would have picked. And you've got to remember, he was good in this race last year, but he wasn't his explosive self. I think he's a different horse this time round. Connections have said how they think going to Australia for the Everest has made a man of him. And we saw that last time. That was absolutely blistering, sensational horse. I hope he can put on a show, and I see no reason why he won't.
Absolutely. Helios Express here, Maddie, knows Ka Ying Rising very well. Raging Blizzard, no world beater, always runs on, never goes a bad race.
Yeah, Helios Express, I feel sorry for the poor horse because he's an exceptional sprinter in his own right. It just so happens that he belongs to the same generation as Kaiying Rising. Hugh Bowman, I spoke to him the other night at Taekwon. He sort of said, we're not going to get involved in, trying to get the favourite beat. We've got to focus on our own race. And he's in my numbers. I think he's going to run another big one.
Yeah, he goes in my numbers as well. He's such an honest horse, isn't he? And he'll get a chance. Raging Blizzard needs luck because he gets all the way back as well. So, look, he can pop up occasionally, but I think this might be slightly too rich.
OK, off to the Sprinter Stakes now. Paul Carnelian, who was big odds, wins this. Satono Rave, he did chase home Kaiying Rising in this race last year. Lucky Swayness, disappointing at Nakayama. He does know Sha Tin well, but he's not the Lucky Swayness of the 2023 edition of this race.
No, he doesn't. I prefer Satono Rave in this race. Lucky Carnelian ran the race of his life and he was a massive price, but you can see Satono Rave hitting the line strongly.
Yeah, I think that form's going to be reversed. The winner got the run of the race. He's looked great at track work this week, but he's an older horse. He's more exposed. And I think Satono Rev, we've seen in Group 1s across the globe what he can do. So if he runs up to his form, I think he's booked for the second spot.
To Del Mar now, Maddie, and the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. This is Cardam, who is a 9-year-old. He knows left-handed. He knows straight racing. Right-handed from barrier 13 is going to make life very difficult for him.
It is. He's going to have a heck of a job on his hands. Look, he's a really admirable horse, a 9-year-old now. He's surprised a few of us in the UK, won the Jubilee twice, first at huge odds of 80 to 1. I think his racing style will suit this race because he can drop out, not get involved in the early pace and then coast home. But I think the best he's going to be looking at is probably 5th or 6th. Yeah,
I tend to agree, yeah. Like the barrier wasn't kind to him. And coming around this right-handed track as well, it's going to be all new to him. He's a 9-year-old though, he's been around the traps.
Yes, that is a Cardam for Charlie Hills, but nothing outside the square here, Maddie, for your on top selection.
Yeah, indeed. It's got to be Kaiying Rising on top. He's just an absolute superstar, and I hope we get to see him put his rivals to the sword again over the weekend. Satono Rave second in. We've seen what he can do in some of the world's best sprints. I think he can come home second best to Kaiying Rising again, followed by Helios Express and the up-and-comer Fast Network. No reason why he can't progress again and run a big race.
Yeah, very, very similar for me as well. Just third and fourth the other way around. I agree, that looks the Quinella, Kaiying Rising and Satono Rav. Fast Network, as Maddie said, he is the new kid on the block. He's up and coming, and Helios Express is so honest. 1, 2, 6, 4.
That's the preview for the 5th. The sprint. It is Kaiying Rising's race, and a back-to-back win in the edition of the sprint is more than likely. Maddie will come back with race number 7 because race number 6 is just a normal program. We can't afford Maddie for all of the 10 here on the race by race preview. So Maddie will grab a cake, a pastry, and will join us again for race number 7. As you can see, Maddie has stepped out for race number 6, back for race number 7 in the Group 1 previews. But Paul is going to give us his thoughts on this Class 3 over the 1,800 metres, with Cambridge stepping up in distance. Gentleman Legacy, 2 starts for 2 placings at course and distance. Winning gold to 1,800, big effort by Prestige Good last time when he sat wide and still nearly won. Mr Dapper, his wins have all been 1,600 metres. Panacea has the visor off. Money Catcher back in trip. With All My Faith goes up in trip. The auspicious second time in Class 3, and Supreme Mastermind is coming up in grade down the bottom. It's Mr Dapper, the leader, Paul.
Yeah, the pace is drawn wide in this race as well, and I thought he could get across and lead Mr Dapper. This is the kindest start of the whole race course, the 1,800 metre start. You've got the whole of the back straight to find positions. With All My Faith can get a lovely run just in behind. Pope Cody's got a low draw. Money Catcher used to lead, but he just doesn't anymore as an older horse. Prestige Good should get a better run than he did last time. Gentleman Legacy, they just might take their time with him from barrier number 8, and Thrall gets back, Snowfield likewise.
This is Prestige Good, who has punted off the map in this race, and he managed to get a little closer to the rail at this stage, but in the end he's run down. Money Catcher's disappointed. Gentleman Legacy's been one of yours in his short career since he's been here. Is this the sort of race that looks good for him?
It does, actually. I just thought there is a bit of pace in this race, and he can sprint off that pace. He has won over 2,000. This is 1,800. I didn't mind the run of Enthralled as well. I mean, he's run second of a 73 rating. He's down to 69. I think he's getting there as well. So both those 2 horses will go in.
On to our second replay now, and Mr Dapper yet to figure at 1,800 metres. He's been placed or fourth once, but it's not as good a record as he's got over 1,600 metres. Pope Cody ran fifth last time. He's come up with a good draw as he tries 1,800 metres. Yeah, and he looks like he'll be suited by the 18. Look, I think Mr Dapper can get to the front. There's no other real pace angle in the race, and if he does that, then that'll give him an opportunity to race well. He'll go in. I've got him in as the Quinella horse. I just think they'll be positive from barrier 13. He wasn't beaten by much in this one. Quite a strong field with Beauty Bolt winning that race. Final replay with All My Faith slowly getting things together here in Hong Kong. He's been on the improve. He was given a perfect trip down on the rail. Pope Cody Sky Vino winning gold also. Come out of this race over 1,600 metres. Are you keen on any of the four, or you just prefer a few others at this stage? No, I actually don't mind with All My Faith because of the draw. He's drawn barrier number 2. He can get that perfect run just in behind. Now, if Mr Dapper doesn't want to lead, he's a possibility of leading as well because he does like to go forward. And he was the best of these. And I like the way he really finished off strongly in this race. And I've got a lot of time for the winner here, Dazzling Fit. So, yeah, he'll definitely go in. Whereabouts in the four does he sit? He sits in third, actually. I've got him in as the third selection. We're going to go with the two here on top, Gentleman Legacy to beat Mr Dapper, with All My Faith third. And Thrall, I think, is a big improver as well. 2, 7, 12 and 8. They are Paul's selections. He's going with Gentleman Legacy to win race number 6 for Tony Cruz. We return to Group 1 racing for race 7. Matty Plowell from the Racing Post has rejoined us to preview the mile for Longines and Soul Rush at the top of the book. Will be a ride for Christian Demuro. Voyage Bubble won the race last year. Docklands comes here from the Mile Championships. He's also been here before. Galaxy Patch, last start winner of the Group 2. The main lead-up race for the locals. Beauvatier for the Jan Barbaro stable. And Alexis Pouchon, who knows Sha Tin after a short-term stint here recently. Red Lion, he was too good for Voyage Bubble in the Champions Mile in April. My Wish draws nicely again. Co-partner Prance likes to go forward. We have the Lion in Winter and the 3-year-old filly down the bottom, Paul Embroidery for Christophe Lemaire. My Wish with the perfect gate. Yeah, look, and co-partner Prance drew barrier number 1. So My Wish at barrier number 2 is just going to get the perfect trail into the race. The Lion in Winter's got barrier 14. I think Ryan's going to be positive there and try and get outside the leader. Red Lion will be a little bit more forward than he was last start as well. When he did win his group race, he was on the pace. Sunlight Power, new jockey there, Christophe Sumion, I think he'll get his chance back on the inside. And Voyage Bubble's going to look and try and slot in. It's going to have to take a good ride. He'll earn his money here on this one, Zach Purden, but it's just a real tricky draw he's got. First up, though, was the trainer of Galaxy Patch, it's Pierre Ong.
He jumped a little bit slow in the last race, but he travels well. And J Mac managed to get him a clear run in the straight, so he won it pretty convincing last time.
And you have a barrier trial on the 4th of December, and he finished slightly better than Voyage Bubble. Are you happy with that barrier trial? What do you make of his run?
That trial, he jumps well, he travels well, and I just tell James to just give him an easy trial, to just keep fit, and that trial was very impressive. James is very happy with the form he is. Hopefully we time it right to the race next Sunday.
That is Pierre Ong. Paul, is the speed map we saw from you the key to his chances good in the top right corner, as opposed to this race where they went good to fast? And Zach Purton rode him last season and was desperate for them to put the blinkers back on. They finally did, and he delivered. He did, didn't he? Look, he only won one race last season. He's come out and he's won this already this season. He did have the race run to suit, as you mentioned. Look, but it was a strong win and the trial was good. He's one you can never write off, Galaxy Patch. There's nothing wrong with My Wishes run either, because he was on that fast pace and he was the only one left there at the finish.
Yeah, I spoke to Connections about My Wish earlier this week, and they said right a line through that last run. He was just far too keen and had too much time in between his races. I think it's going to be a different story on Sunday. That is the team's thoughts on that replay. Matty, here is Voyage Bubble. This was also on Jockey Club race day. He was given the perfect lead here by Zach Purton, Romantic Warrior.
ran past him for fun and no doubt made the decision for Ricky and the connections that we couldn't beat him first up. Let's try the mile again.
Understandable route to take. I love this horse. I think he gets put in the shadow of Romantic Warrior and Kai Rising, but he is an absolute superstar. The first Triple Crown winner, of course, for 31 years. And people seem to forget he won this race last year. Yes, I don't think a mile is his best trip, but we know that he's so adaptable in terms of the way he can be ridden. It is going to be a tricky barrier for him, but I think if he's ridden up with the pace, he'll definitely be in the final equation.
Yeah, I think you know your fate early with him because it depends where he gets in that run. But as Matty said, he's such an honest horse and he really tries hard. So, like, he's very hard to leave out.
Docklands, Paul, he's very hit and miss. He's used to travelling. This is the Mile Championship at Kyoto last time. Soul Rush ran 6th. Somehow Soul Rush has managed to beat Romantic Warrior. He's not opposing him on the weekend, but bloody for now he managed to beat Romantic Warrior in Dubai.
He just got up, didn't he? It was a great race. Look, he's 11 was a little bit of a concern about Soul Rush for me with that wide barrier, just where he's going to be in the run. The other one, Docklands, yeah, I'm not too sure. It was a better run from him there, and he's given the owners such a good ride around the world. He's travelled around the world. He's got a few air miles on his side, but this might be a step too far.
Yeah, he wasn't at home last year when he ran. I think they can expect a better performance this time. Didn't get the best draw and was out of his ground in the Mile Championship last time, but he's an incredibly honest horse. I'm just not sure that this race is going to play to his strengths.
We'll move on then, Matty, to the Challenge Stakes. Your best place to talk us through this and the form of those around Bovata going back to October.
Yeah, this horse has raced almost exclusively at sprint distances, only had 2 tries over the mile. This was over the 1,400 metres. Look how dominant a winner he is in the end. He's certainly got a nice turn of foot. I wonder, they're clearly running him over this trip because they want him to get a strong pace. That's crucial to him. But I wonder whether he truly sees it out. It's probably not his optimum distance. He can run well, though.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't be surprised. I did have a couple of looks at this horse. I just thought he has found quite a strong mile race in this one. But, yeah, he's had 2 goes over the mile. He got beaten narrowly in 1, but as Matty said, he's better over the sprint distances.
Another one from the Sun, Sand and Surf of Delmar last time, Paul, is the Lion in Winter, who ran 3rd, 1,600 metres. Yet to win a Group 1 though, and didn't quite go on to be the horse they expected earlier on in his 3-year-old season.
He's the almost horse, isn't he? He's been quite close to win these Group 1s, but hasn't quite got there. But he's an honest horse. It's just how much work he has to do from the wide draw.
I couldn't have him, I don't think. Of all the horses Aidan O'Brien's brought here, I just think he's got work to do. As you say, he was very highly rated earlier on in his campaign. Not necessarily his fault he didn't live up to that, and he's put in some good efforts in Group 1s, but I think he'll be found wanting against this sort of competition.
Keen to hear thoughts, Matty, on Embroidery, because she's unknown outside of 3-year-old fillies feature racing. This the Shuka Show last time at Kyoto, 2,000 metres. Only recent time she's failed has been 1.5 miles, but her form around that failure is impeccable. Yeah, back to a mile is definitely what she wants, in my opinion. Even this trip, I think, ideally, she wants shorter. I really like her a lot. She's caught the eye at track work. She's won 2 legs of the Fillies Triple Crown in Japan, and she looks a real talent going the right way. It's a big ask for a 3-year-old filly, obviously coming here against the older and the international horses, but I think she's definitely going to run a big race.
Yeah, she looks tough. I've included her as well. She's, again, got a wide draw, unfortunately, but she'll look for cover midfield. I think that's where we've got her on the map there. So, look, I wouldn't be surprised. You can never underestimate the Japanese.
Absolutely, and a £5 weight allowance for Embroidery. This is a really intriguing race on paper. Maddie, what is your top 4 in the end?
I found it really, really tough. In the end, I just strayed from my favourite Voyage Bubble. I think My Wish is going to get a great setup here. We spoke about the pace map and just how much that's going to suit him. He's the coming force in Hong Kong, and I think if there is a new star miler on the block, it's him. So he's on top, followed by my good friend Voyage Bubble in 2nd. Embroidery, we just spoke about, in for 3rd. And Soul Rush, it's going to be his last run on Sunday. He can bow out. He's run some good races here in Sha Tin before.
Yeah, when the barrier draws came out, the decision was really made there with My Wish. She's going to just get that perfect run just in behind. Voyage Bubble, I think he can slot in, and if he does, that's going to give him his best chance. Sunlight Powers, one of the locals, did run 3rd in the Champions Mile with the Christophe Soumillon, and he'll jump aboard. And then I agree with the Embroidery. She looks quality horse. and see if she can make her presence felt. 10, 2, 9, 14 for me.
Both Maddie and Paul predicting a huge Sunday at Sha Tin in the mile. For Luke Ferraris and Mark Newnham with My Wish. Further history stands for Romantic Warrior in race number 8 if he can win his 4th Longines Hong Kong Cup. He hasn't got many to beat this year because it's only a field of 7. He carries 1-2-6 from barrier 2. Bellagio Opera is a 3-time winner over 2,000 metres, including the winner of the Group 1 Osaka High 2 runs ago. Galen for the Joseph O'Brien stable comes here for the first time. Straight Aaron, a good draw. Craig Williams, David Hayes. Craig wearing those colours from the same draw to win the Derby on Cap Ferrat earlier in the year. Cheng Cheng Glory has jockey number 12 on board, and Kissy Sana for the Graffard stable from France down the bottom. The pace and the position, Paul, of Romantic Warrior.
Yeah, he should get himself into a perfect position here. Look, the pace all depends on Galen, what he wants to do. The connections at the barrier draw said they're just going to let him roll, and he might get out to a reasonable lead and try and steal it, or he might try and save himself for one last run. But it's more likely probably just to roll along there in front. Rusham Park, now we've seen him quite a lot here in track work during the week, pulling and reefing, so he'll want the pace on.
Hopefully Galen just is allowed slide to a 10-15 length lead and really sets it up, being just a small field for the Cup. For this man to try and run him down its neck with the rider of Romantic Warrior, James McDonald.
From my perspective, he's going every bit as good as he's done over the years, and his win in first up was basically just what we wanted to see. He was back, he had a nice little blowout. The race wasn't too strenuous for him, he's bounced through it well, so he's going into this 4th Hong Kong Cup, which, to think about it, is quite remarkable, really. To even to be trying to win your 4th, let alone the horses don't even race 4 times in a Hong Kong Cup. So, no, just a remarkable horse, and he's been so carefully handled by Danny. He's been remarkable, and Peter's been ambitious with him, and he's deserves all the accolades he gets.
So small field this year, Matty, just the 7 runners, loves 2,000 metres. Let's go back and have a look at his first up performance, where the Triple Crown winner, who'd had a run under his belt, was given the best run in front, and he just shows what an absolute champion he is, Romantic Warrior.
You've said it in one word. What a remarkable horse. Surgery is serious for a horse, and he just comes out as if he's never been away. His appetite for racing is extraordinary. He's so honest. You can put him anywhere in a race. He tries so hard. I looked at this race initially thinking I might want to take him on, and the more I looked at it, I thought, how can you? He just never runs a bad race, and there's reason to think he'll improve from that first up run in the Jockey Club Cup. Yeah,
no, they went so slow. The first 1,200 was 4.75 seconds slower than standard. So Voyage Bubble, who was a class horse, as we know, and we think he's a big chance in the mile, look, he had everything in front, and he just ran straight past him. He ran a quicker last sectional than Kahing Rising did.
He did, and we had a class 3 or 4 early that day, didn't we? And
yeah.
They went slower than that for the first sections.
They did. It was just a remarkable run, fresh up.
The horse that is going to likely lead the race this year is Galen, and here is Nick and his trainer, Joseph O'Brien.
He's just off the back of a career best. He likes to go forward, he loves fast ground, and he's travelled here very well. And obviously, as you say, Romantic Warrior is a special horse, and it's a privilege to be competing against him. But we think we can get a share of the prize money.
Joseph, does a slightly smaller field help or hinder a horse like him, perhaps? I suppose if he's out in front and able to dictate, I suppose what's going on behind doesn't really matter too much to him, does it?
No, he's super straightforward, and he goes a good gallop, and he's happy to go to the lead. So, yeah, really what happens around him doesn't affect him too much.
Comes here with that Bahrain form. We're going to move on now to Bellagio Opera, who's the horse that runs second in the Takarazuka Kinnan at Hanshin last time. Matty, is he the biggest danger, if there is one, to Romantic Warrior?
Definitely. I think there's reason to think this horse can at least give him a gallop. A dual winner of the Osaka High. I think he's probably peaking right about now. His trainer's actually been riding him at track work, and he's spoken glowing terms to the press about this horse's chances. I think he's going to be ridden prominently. He'll be well positioned. Yeah, I think he's in with a good chance. I'd definitely have him second best.
Yeah, I've got him as the Quinella horse. He's got the right credentials to come here. Been racing in the top quality in Japan and all those Group 1s, and Look, he could give Romantic Warrior a bit of a fright. We saw Soul Rush do it overseas, didn't we?
Somehow. Unbelievably. We did indeed. You've both got embroidery in. Kissy Sana's a mare running in this race, Paul, and here she is in the British Champions Fillies and Mare Stakes. Do you give her at least a place chance?
Yeah, look, I do. I put her in on a minor line as well. We saw that race in the Arc as well, where she ran well, and then she's come out, and this is the race in Britain, it was a good run from her. She wasn't too far behind. Again, with these French horses, you can never underestimate them.
I think the step back to 2000 is definitely what she wants. That was probably a little bit too far with her, and she didn't stay out the trip in the Arc. Won the Prix Jean Romanet earlier this season. She's had a great year. This is going to be her final run before she goes off to the breeding sheds. She's got a good turn of foot, so if Galen doesn't go too fast, I think there's a chance that they might ignore him, and the pace is slow, then that might advantage her.
OK, well, it takes a very special horse to win the same Group 1 4 years in a row. Is Romantic Warrior going to do it?
I think he is, you know, you just can't get him beat no matter which way you look at it. He's just one of the most incredible athletes I've ever seen. Of course, the world's all-time most winning horse in terms of prize money, so he's on top for me. I do think Bellagio Opera, if any, is going to give him a huge run for his money. Kissy Sana, as I mentioned previously, tactically this race could be run to suit her. And then Straight Aaron, I seem to put him up in a minor line every time I come on this show. One of these days he's going to repay me.
I'm going to go Romantic Warrior as well. He obviously looks the one he picks himself. Bellagio Opera, I agree, there is the main danger. I'm going to put Galen in there for third. I thought Galen might just sort of roll along in front, be there for a long period and make it an exciting race. And then Kissy Sana there, I agree with that turn of foot there for fourth. 1, 2, 4, 7.
That has been the previews for the 4 Group 1s. Matty Playle, thanks for joining us as always. We can read all your news on the Racing Post.
You can, and the Hong Kong Jockey Club have been filing news this week. Plenty of press releases, plenty of news from jockeys and trainers as well.
Enjoy Sunday at Sha Tin.
Thank you very much.
And that's Matty Playle joining us from the Racing Post. Paul, you're back for race number 9.
Yep, we'll see you then.
The Group 1s might be finished, but Sha Tin Sunday is not. There is race number 9 to preview right now, and it is a Class 3 over 1,400 metres. Juno Pride's a 3-time course and distance winner. Starrise up in trip. Charming Legend now with Casper Founds. Dragon Joy has the Shadow Roll coming off. Stanley Express goes up in trip and draws a gate, rising from ashes from the 1,000 to the 1,400 metres. 80 Light Years placed his first start for Brett Crawford last time, and Smart Avenue wide draw again and eligible to go around at the top of Class 4. Uranus Star, barrier number 14, Paul, but he did lead from barrier 1 last time.
It seems to be the trend in these races that all the horses that like to lead have drawn wide, and over the 1,400 metres I think he can get across and lead. Charming Legend's the alternative leader. He likes to go forward as well, but he's drawn 8. 80 Light Years went forward last time. Dragon Joy put himself in the race. Pray for Justice has got a tricky draw. See where he ends up. Juno Pride, he can't buy a barrier. He's got another wide draw.
Lucky My Way. He is very much one of your favourites. Syria's running 10th over 1,400 last time. The Great Everyone Star has placed both these runs back. Is the love affair of Lucky My Way waning slightly?
Well, look, I'm going to give him one last chance because he did win third up last season, and he's third up in that situation now. And when he did run, he was at really big odds too. He was over 20 to 1. I think he's improving. He wasn't beaten too much in this race. I do like the grey horse, Everyone Star, as well. I think he's a big chance. I think there's a horse in this race who's going to come up very short, so he should get a good price.
Is this the one that is going to come up very short? Starrise, who's buried down on the inside. Stanley Express 11th. We have seen those colours win at huge odds in recent weeks that Stanley Express's jockey does wear, but we'll focus on Starrise. How short are you thinking?
Yeah, I reckon he could be close to odds on because there's a lot of talk about him. He was really unlucky coming from the David Hall stable as well. He couldn't get a run all the way down. I know James McDonald thinks he's one of his best chances coming up this weekend as well. So it was a strong race with public affair and everything in there. So he definitely goes in. He's going to be tough to beat, but he's going to be short, I think.
Dragon Joy, he's coming off a 4th. This is back in October. We haven't seen him since then. He has had 2 trials. Holly Doyle takes the ride for Ricky Yu. How do you think he was placed in a race like this one?
Well, he may be the forgotten horse. I mean, he does like the 1400 metres. He's drawn nicely in barrier number 4. They've given a decent spell leading into this race as well. His fresh up record isn't particularly flash, but he's had plenty of work leading into it. And this was a strong race with Top Dragon, Dazzling Fit, etc. in the race.
Yeah, it sure was. That's a Dragon Joy. One more to have a look at. It's Pray for Justice, who's hardly had the one start. He ran 5th in this race. Little Paradise has come out and won since. Thriving Brothers, the victor of this race. And as you mentioned during your speed map, Janu Pride, just no luck with barriers.
Yeah, and all his Pray for Justice, he's got 10, so that's a little bit tricky for him from that wide draw. And Janu Pride, he's only a little horse, Janu Pride. He's at this rating. It's just a tricky rating because he's got to carry the big weight, 135, and he's got barrier number 13. The positive, he's got Ryan Moore aboard, but it's just a little bit hard from that with the big weight and the wide draw.
Yeah, sticking with Lucky My Way.
We'll stick with him. We'll give him a chance here, fresh up. I think he's ready to do something, and hopefully he can either win or run into a placing at a big price. He's on top. Star Eyes will be short, but he's going to be really tough to beat. He'll be a lot of people's bankers, I think, for the 6-up. Everyone's star in there for 3rd, and Uranus star. Plenty of stars there in there for 4th. 6-3-2-5.
More stars than a fanboy's account, but Lucky My Way for Paul to bounce back and win race number 9. And to close Sha Tin on Sunday, we have a very highly competitive race coming up. It is a Class 2 over the 1400 metres. Beauty Eternal is unbeaten this grade. Pacifies with the cowls on. Victor the winner blinkers again. Dancing Code has the blinkers off. Drombeg Banner's won a trial since we last saw him. Young Champion minus earplugs. Wide draw again for Mr. Ascendancy. Karma's a 2-time course and distance winner. We rounded out with Public Attention, Beauty Crescent and Midwinter Win. This great race. Well, it's Class 2, so it should be, but this one is really competitive, Paul.
Yeah, really good race to finish the card, and it's going to be a fantastic day's racing. Healthy Happy likes to lead. Drombeg Banner likes to lead. Beauty Crescent likes to go forward. Dancing Code has led over this distance from barrier 1. He's drawn. Gustosissimo, Public Attention went forward last time. Victor the winner could lead in his old days, but hasn't been recently. So there is good pace in this race. Beauty Eternal can sit midfield there with Young Champion. Mark Wynn won on this program last year. Eris Nova's been racing well. Karma likes pace on. He should get it, as does Midwinter Wind. Good field. You can make a case for just about all of them.
Absolutely. It's going to be a wonderful betting heat, the last, and here is plenty coming out of race 169. This is the race where Beauty Crescent and Drombeg Banner might have taken themselves off each other's Christmas card list with the way that they went at it coming down the side. That section down the side of the track was lightning.
They're facing each other. So round 2, we'll see what happens there. Exactly. I do like the run of Midwinter Wind, and I do like the run of Eris Nova. They did have the race run to suit with the pace in, but they finished the best in these two. They're both in good form at the moment, in particular Eris Nova. Like his charm wins the race, and Midwinter Wind, we've seen him with a really good turn of foot in the past. So both Eris Nova and Midwinter Wind, I'll put in my numbers.
Here is Eris Nova also since that race. This is on the 15th of November. Dancing Code 4th. Eris Nova's had a trial following this too. He was pretty good. Dancing Code tucked up in behind the leader. He draws nicely. Barrier number 1, Umberto Rispoli takes the ride.
I think he'll get a very similar run, Dancing Code, than the run he got here. Again, this is a tough race, and as we said, he can make a case for a lot of these horses. Dancing Code, Patch of Stars is a pretty special horse, and he's sort of going through the grades. Again, a good run from Eris Nova, though.
That was him on the outside. The grey, Public Attention, this was his debut performance. It was over 1,200 metres. He did have a perfect run. Sky Joy didn't and won the race. Interesting, though, he's been given a trial following this, so I'm wanting to get some more miles in the legs, it would seem, from the stable.
Yeah, up to 1,400 metres. No weight on his back, 115 pounds. He might put 2 over Craig Williams. We'll see on the day. Barrier number 8, with all the pace in the race, he should get his opportunity once again. It's hard to come to Hong Kong and race well with this sort of rating, and he did do that. So he's obviously got really good ability.
That is the grey, Public Attention. Here is Beauty Eternal, who we're used to seeing in the Group 1s on this day. It might be a while since he wasn't in an HKIR international race. He's not. He's had a trial on the all-weather. He led. he was very impressive. He has to carry top weight, but he can't have done any more in Class 2.
No, look, his last one was off 119. He's down to 105, so he's a really well-rated horse at the moment. As you can see, it was a real easy trial. The horse is obviously going well. They've sidestepped the mile and the other races to come for this 1,400-metre race. He's been downgraded. I think he's going to be tough to beat in this.
That's a good report. Beauty Eternal. Now off to Chung Fa we go with Gusto Sissimo and Healthy Happy, both on the fence. Healthy Happy stays under a hold. When the run comes for Gusto Sissimo, he pushes through and wins the trial. Would you prefer him in something easier, Gusto Sissimo?
Yeah, a little bit easier. And with Healthy Happy, he can be a hard horse to get past. But look, there's so much pace in this race as well. And we saw him when he doesn't dominate in front. It sort of can be his undoing. So, look, I was happy to watch these two.
All right, so they're not going in. Did you come up with the selection? Such a good race, an open race. You got the pen and went like that?
I'm with the one on top. I think at the ratings, we don't need the pen. He's on top, which is Beauty Eternal, Ryan Moore and John Size. Public Attentions obviously come to Hong Kong in really good order, up into 1,400 metres. Eris Nova's been racing very well, and Midwinter Win with the back with all the pace on. 1, 12, 8 and 14.
And with the preview show for the Big Four, there was no traditional racing to win, which means the best value bet and play is about to appear here, Paul, starting with your best.
Yeah, we'll go with the horse in the Vase. Sosi, the French horse, I think he can win. Andre Fabre, 12 starts, 6 wins. Look at that record. I think he can win it. And then as far as the value, we'll stick with my old friend Lucky My Way. 6 starts for 2 wins. And those 2 wins did come about this time in his preparation last season. And as far as the play, we're doing that really good race to finish off with Beauty Eternal, Eris Nova and a Public Attention for a QQP.
Prestige good, backed off the map last time, huge performance. He went down to an in-form winning wing. James McDonald, he carries 9 pounds less in this race too, so he is on top. In as the value play, Winning Diamond, unlucky down the straight, good trial up at Chung Fa. 4 starts, hasn't done too much. Poor Umberto's had some bad draws since he's been here. Barrier 13 in the play. We'll throw him in alongside Majestic Valor and Packing Phoenix in a QQP. That has been the preview, Paul, for all of the races coming up on Sunday, and what a day awaits.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic day's racing, and let's hope it's we see the best of these horses. Everyone gets a fair shot, and the best horses win on the day.
Absolutely. The return of the Four Kings looking to do it again. The first race at Sha Tin on Sunday. It's early at 12:25.